Most cigars don't get ruined by age. They don't get ruined by brands. They don't even get ruined by bad luck. They get ruined by humidity mistakes. The kind people repeat confidently because they sound right. Today we're breaking down the humidity mistakes that actually ruin cigars. Not myths, not forum drama, just the errors that quietly kill flavor, burn, and construction. If you ever wondered why a cigar tastes flat, burns crooked, or feels spongy even though your hygrometer says everything's fine, this episode is for you. The first mistake is obsessing over a single humidity number, 68, 70, 72%. People treat these like commandments. Here's what actually matters, and where people get confused. Cigars don't experience humidity as a number. They experience it as conditions over time. A cigar held steadily at 72% will age better than a cigar bouncing between 65 and 70% every few days. Not because 72% is better, but because it's stable. When people hear that, they often swing too far the other way and think stability means locking in one exact reading. That's the mistake. Real-world humidors breathe, wood absorbs and releases moisture. Room conditions change, lids open and close. So healthy storage doesn't look like a flat line. It looks like a narrow range with no interference. The damage happens when collectors constantly adjust packs, crack lids, or swap humidity sources just to force the humidor back to a target number. Those interventions create micro swings inside the cigars themselves, leading to wrapper expansion and contraction, internal stress fractures, uneven burns that appear weeks later. This is what stability beats precision actually means. If your humidor naturally lives somewhere between 65 and 72% without you chasing it, you're doing it right. The problem isn't the range, it's the constant correction. This is one of the most common and most misunderstood ways cigars get ruined. People are afraid of dry cigars, so they push humidity higher just in case. On the surface, nothing seems wrong. The cigars look fine, they smell fine, even feel soft, which many people mistake for freshness. Here's what's actually happening. Cigars don't fail immediately at high humidity. They fail slowly and internally. At sustained high RH, combustion temperatures drop, oils migrate unevenly through the filler, wrappers lose elasticity instead of gaining it. The cigar becomes harder to burn, not easier. This is why over-humidified cigars often get blamed for tight draws, bitter smoke, constant touch-ups. Not because they're badly rolled, but because they're waterlogged. The danger is that the damage doesn't announce itself. A cigar can sit too wet for months before the symptoms show up, and by the time they do, the flavor has already flattened. If a cigar feels spongy when gently squeezed, that's not protection, that's saturation. High humidity doesn't preserve cigars, it suffocates them. Digital hygrometers feel authoritative, numbers, decimals, immediate feedback, and that's where the mistakes start. Hygrometer tells you the humidity of the air, not the moisture content of the cigar. Those two things are related, but they're not synchronized. Tobacco changes slowly, air changes fast. So when you add new humidity packs, open the humidor repeatedly, move the humidor to a different room, transition between seasons. The air adjusts first, the cigars lag behind, sometimes by days, sometimes by weeks. This lag is why humidor can read perfectly while cigars burn terribly. And when that happens, the cigar usually gets blamed for bad construction, poor draw, or low quality leaf. In reality, the cigar is still equalizing. This is also why constant adjustments backfire. Every correction resets the air, forcing the cigar to chase a moving target. The hygrometer isn't lying, it's just incomplete. That's why your hands matter. A properly conditioned cigar should feel firm, but not rigid, springy, but not spongy, and consistent from head to foot. If the humidor reads perfect, but the cigar feels wrong, trust the cigar. The screen is the guide, and the leaf is the truth. Another mistake that ruins cigars quietly, putting dry cigars and properly humidified cigars in the same space. What happens? Moisture migrates. The dry cigars pull humidity aggressively. The stable cigars lose moisture unevenly. Instead of equalizing cleanly, you end up with blotchy wrappers, soft spots, inconsistent burn behavior across the same box. If cigars arrive dry, they need quarantine, slow rehydration, in a separate space. No rush. Trying to fix dryness fast doesn't save cigars, it fractures them internally. Humidity does not exist alone. Temperature changes everything. Warm air holds more moisture. Cool air releases it. That means a humidor reading 70% RH at 68 degrees behaves very differently at 78 degrees. Higher temperatures accelerate mold growth, tobacco fermentation, oil breakdown. This is how cigars can taste cooked. If your humidor lives near a window, a PC or console, a heat vent, your cigars are aging under stress. Ideal storage is boring, cool, dim, and stable. Cigars thrive on neglect, not attention. Every time you open a humidor, you reset the environment. Humidity escapes, temperature shifts, fresh air rushes in. On its own, that's not catastrophic. One opening won't ruin cigars. The damage comes from frequency, especially in smaller humidors. Small volumes of air change faster, so each opening creates a sharper swing, and the cigars inside have to absorb that change. When this happens repeatedly, wrappers fatigue from expansion and contraction. Moisture equalizes unevenly within the cigar. Aging slows or becomes erratic. This is why daily browsing causes more harm than intentional access. Opening a humidor to select a cigar is controlled. Opening it to admire the collection introduces unnecessary stress. A humidor isn't a display case, it's a climate box. If you want to protect your cigars, access them with purpose. The less often that you interfere, the more consistently they will age. Cigars aren't fragile, they're patient. What ruins them isn't one bad day, it's repeated stress. Stable humidity, moderate temperature, minimal interference. If you stop chasing perfection and start protecting consistency, your cigars will burn straighter, taste clearer, age more predictably. In the next episode, we'll talk about how long cigars really need to rest after purchase, and why rushing that process wastes good tobacco. If this episode helped, the takeaway isn't to do nothing, it's to stop overcorrecting, just like your cigars. And as always, thank you for spending time here in the Honest Humidor.